If you have been seeing a lot of those motion collage animation effects and wondering how was this done, then this is probably the video for you. So this week I came across this really awesome Gatorade advert and I really wanted to break it down, unravel it, and yeah, try and recreate it. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how quickly I put this together. So I am going to break this motion collage effect down for you into 6 simple parts. If you are a beginner, you will do just fine. Just make sure you know your way around After Effects. I am here in my composition. I have my footage here. I have already color corrected it and I've got the exact timing that I want to work with. Now I'm going to mask out my footage. First thing we want to do is press on our layer and press Ctrl D to duplicate it. So I'm just going to rename this. And we want to go to our point in footage where she's got the widest piece of action. I think that's actually a good point right here. Make sure you are selected your layer, grab the pen tool. We're going to mask around her arms and legs and head separately. So I'm going to make one mask and so on. Once you've got your layer masked, the next thing that you want to do is keyframe it. If I push M with my layer selected, we can see our masks here. So I'm just going to select each stopwatch to add a keyframe. Then you want to go to each point in your footage that has the biggest movements and adjust the mask at each point. To keep the chunky look that we had in the original footage, you want to make sure do not adjust the points. We want to keep this as square as possible and you can adjust the scale if you need to. So the trick to masking like this is you want to keep the masks moving as though they are the legs and the arms. This is also how you should just be masking in general. I cry a little inside every time I see a full body rotoscope. And just do that until you've done the whole thing. Once you have your mask ready, you are ready to move on to step number 2. Right, the next step that we are going to take is to recreate this grunge layer. Press Ctrl Y to create a new solid and name it. Then go over to Effects and Presets and type in Fractal Noise. Then just grab this effect and drop it onto your grunge layer. So you're going to end up with something that looks like this. But you're going to make some changes to get to this point. Basically to get here, I just created 3 solid layers, 3 fractal noise, and did something a little bit different on each one. I'll just show you real quick what I did on each layer. You'll notice on the bottom of some of them I've also got an invert, and to get them all visible from the top, you can see on these top 2 layers I've changed the mode to exclusion. Just click right here so you can change your mode. And I'll just come down into this layer to show you how I got movement on these layers. You can see right here it is red, and in this box I've got a little expression. I'll just go ahead and delete this and show you how you can put this in here. So just go over to the stopwatch next to evolution, hold down Alt, click, and it will open up this box and you can just type in time times 500. So if you change the number, you will change the speed. So if I go ahead and change this to say 100, it will slow it down quite a lot. It's not really showing through. On the second layer, which is the clouds, I actually just have it set to times 30, which is why you can see very minimal movement on that one. And last of all, just pre-compose your layers. Alright, next thing that we want to do is recreate our own versions of these rainbows. So to do this, we are going to come up to the top here and grab our shape tool, and I'm going to grab an ellipse and I'm just going to draw out, hold down shift to make it perfectly circle, and I'm going to center it just like that. I'm going to change the fill to white, and then I'm going to come into these settings, come into the stroke and change the stroke width to 30. And change the color to black. Then I want to come over here, I'm going to add a repeater. I'm going to drop into the repeater, change the copies to 10, keep the offset at 0 and come into the transform settings and change the position to 0. Then I want to change the scale to 200. So we can make quite a few changes to this to create our 2 rainbow effects. So the first thing that I've done on this rainbow is I've just come in here and I have changed the size. So I've just unchecked this box and changed it to 80 instead of 100. So it's just a little bit round. Next, I have added a CC radial fast blur. So straight away what you can see it does is it blurs everything out. And the reason that I've done this is I do not want it to be just black and white. I want it to have this white kind of scale up to black and then so on. And the reason for this is that I'm going to use a colorama effect. So I'm going to drag a colorama effect back onto here just to demonstrate, and I'm going to change this preset palette to ramp gray. You can see it's back to our original image. If I turn this off, there's no changes. So what this colorama tool is doing is it's taking all of the colors in the image, transforming them to grayscale, which you can see here, which is why there's no changes, because it's changing it to grayscale. And then it assigns colors around this circle, and you can add any color to this. So in my case, if I turn this off, come back to the colorama effect, we've got these colors and it is assigning them all to different colors. Now you can change this number, the cycle repetitions, and it changes how many times it goes through. So I had mine set quite high, up to 5, and it's gone through it many times. You can also change the phase shift. So if I just drag this up, you can see that it's actually changing kind of which colors is assigned to black and so on. So that's another way that you can change the look of it there. Overall, in this instance, I am not changing anything else. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that right here. And then finally, I just added a Gaussian blur to it, and I've just chosen repeat edge pixels. So that is the first version of the rainbow that I have done. And the second one was set up exactly the same way. The stroke is a little smaller on this one. You can see it's at a width of 5. And the CC radial blur looks a little bit different because of that. And I've just got different colorama settings. I've just opened this up and you can see we've just got different colors, and the cycle repetitions are just a little bit lower. The only other thing that's different about this layer is I've also just put a couple of keyframes on this size. Right, next we are just going to duplicate this so we have 9 versions of it. So just press Ctrl D. One too many, and drag them all underneath. And then we're just going to adjust the timing. So this is going to be when your effects pop up. So I'll do it about there. So when that's off, you can see we've just got our mask playing through. Right, we are finally going to add some effects. So let's just go ahead and look at what is going on here. You can see we've got these grunge layers, 1, 2, and 3. We've also got 2 rainbow layers, and we've got this inverted layer, 1 and 2. We've also got a orange tinted layer. So really, we've only got 2 effects to go over. So let's just break down how we're going to do this. So first, let's take a look at our rainbow layer that we created earlier. We want this to only show up inside our masked layer. And to do that, we are going to use a track matte. So come over to track matte tab, and we're going to do mask 9 rainbow 2, which is what I've called it in my case. And you can see when I've done that, we've got this and it's cut out. It has used this layer to cut out the rainbow layer. If you cannot see this, if you cannot see track matte, just right click on this top bar. Under columns, you need to just have modes selected. Right, so that was our rainbow layer. We're going to do the same for our grunge layer. To track matte, we're going to choose mask 8, grunge 3 in my case. You can see that this one is not black, and I have just added a tint effect to our grunge. Now to recreate the invert look, let's just switch them all off. If we just went and dropped into effects and presets and dropped the invert on there, it would have inverted it all a little bit weird. So that is why I did the black and white first and then put invert on. And these levels and curves are just to adjust it slightly. All of these are going to look different for your footage, so there's no use, trying to copy what I have. You're welcome to, but it's going to look different for whatever footage you are using. All right, next we are going to create that tint effect. So turn this on, and you can see that I've literally copy and pasted from the grunge layer onto this tint tab. And after that, there's really nothing new. I'm just going to go through and switch our layers on. Okay, and after that, all that is left to do is to adjust the position and scale. So let me give you an example. I'll just bring my pointer over here so we can see everything. I'm just going to select everything and just press S. And you can see that that's just brought up all of my scale on every layer. And if I adjust this, I'm going to go to the tint layer and pull that up and down, and it's just changing the size. And in the same way, I'm going to select everything once again, and I'm going to press P for position. If we move this around, it's going to completely change what we are seeing. So this is one example that I made with this effect. And here is another example with it going out to the side. If you found this video helpful, giving it a like would be much appreciated, and if you like this kind of content, I upload After Effects tutorials every single week on this channel. Check out this video right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!